Okay.
All right, Dr. Meeks, good evening. This is Team 36 on our final presentation, Deck 6, where we'll talk about corporate governance, ethics, social responsibility of a business, strategic process and advice, and the Netflix case. To lead us off this week will be Stacy.
All right. So let me advance the slide here. The first part of the PowerPoint is interpretation of the passage. The passage discusses strategic management and defines it as the study of the functions and responsibilities of general management and the problems which affect the character and success of the enterprise. It discussed the CEO as an overseer of the organization and one who should always do what's best for the organization as a whole, not allowing special interest or bias beliefs get in the way. First, I want to define what strategy is, and then we'll talk further about the process of strategic management. Strategy is a continual executive learning process. Each strategic plan should be treated like a hypothesis where you're always testing. The learning process requires senior executives to engage in dialogue and operations across all levels and all departments. To define how strategic management adds to our business acumen, I like what Peter Drucker, says, and this is taken from a few different passages. I think it was back in the 2006 that it was kind of compiled from his passages. So he was a business thinker and a writer. He could analyze a problem. What he said if there's organizations that struggle, he believed it was usually because of outdated ideas, narrow conception of a problem, or internal misunderstandings. Basically, the leader had lost touch with the market, their external environment, and their assumptions no longer fit reality. Only a focused and common mission will hold the organization together and enable it to produce. Without such a mission, the organization will soon lose credibility, and with it, its ability to attract the very people it needs to perform. His thoughts and his ideas were very insightful. He was the one who came up with management by objective. Of course, you can't objectivize everything, but he had some very good characteristics of what an effective leader looks like, some practices that an effective leader does, and I want to go through those. 8 practices. He said that they always ask what needs to be done. They ask what is right for the enterprise. They develop action plans. They took responsibility for decisions. They took responsibility for communicating, and that's very important to communicate that strategic plan. They were focused on opportunities rather than problems. They ran productive meetings. They thought and said we rather than I. And above all, the main rule was they listen first and speak last. And I think next we have Brittany.
Yeah. Business ethics are basically values that determine how an organization operates, and they can vary based on the organization's culture. It distinguishes between right and wrong and making the right decisions, or at least the best decisions. And are you ethical at work? I think most people are ethical at work as it relates to making the right decisions and just following company rules. Do the same ethics apply at home and church as they do at work? No. Personal ethics, they can vary person to person and based on their religion, culture, upbringing, and environment. Do companies have an obligation to be ethical? Yes, it contributes to the company's success. They also have to comply with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And just an example at work is that I work in HR and recruitment, and ethics is a big part of HR as it relates to unemployment policies, compensation, recruitment, and safety issues. And it can really lead to bigger problems later on if you don't make the right decisions from the beginning, legally and financially. Next slide.
Okay, I think, everybody contributed to the next couple of slides. Best aspects and improving, what we thought about the class. I'll take the first one, and then Simon, if you want to take the next one. Clear instructions, multiple opportunities to earn grades, interaction of small groups and team projects. I think, everybody really communicated on what we felt like were the best aspects of the class. Everyone gets to contribute. The Socratic skill builders, we talked about that one for a few minutes. I said, that those were kind of long, but they actually helped compile the information and, helped us understand and actually do better on the quiz. Multiple opportunities to take the quizzes, the instructional videos gave clear direction. So there were a lot of great aspects for the class.
So as far as course improvement, modifications, and elimination, we talked about maybe doing the teamwork, maybe into the second week. Less group projects, maybe a total of 2 or 3. Seemed like it was just a bit much. The amount of Zoom meetings, again, that was just part of the group work. And then maybe just, I know you have, there's a lot of grading that has to be done, but, some people did get extra points, but maybe what was really good or what was really bad. It'd be nice to know.
Okay. So this one was basically about sharing your thoughts on an aspect of this course. And should we continue with the Zoom meetings? I thought that the Zoom meetings were good. They kind of helped with learning. It helped us generate new ideas. I think it helped keep each other going, as far as going throughout this class. I think having a team around kind of helped with that. And so should we continue to require the Zoom meetings? I think there should be, I think you can require those, but at the same time, just not as many. Maybe 3 weeks out at the most to kind of just build that, you know your team members, who they are, you can communicate with them, and I think it'll help toward the class. So those were our thoughts on that.
Okay, so likes and dislikes about the LSUS online MBA program. So one of the biggest likes for me, and I know for quite a few other students, was that LSUS offers very competitive tuition. So when I was shopping around for MBA program to enroll in, definitely the price tag for MBA program at LSU was something of consideration. And I think by far and large, it's one of the cheapest programs available in the US, but at the same time, it's the quality and the price, they're pretty much outstanding. Another good thing about MBA program is that it's ACSB accredited, meaning that regardless of where we go, our degree is going to be accepted, whether we want to stay here or we move abroad. It still will be, our degree is going to be recognized, which is very, very important. So next is well thought through course offerings. And because this is a kind of accelerated course, accelerated program, and it's very important to handpick the number of classes that students have to take to achieve, the competency in management. And I believe that whatever we have to take as a requirement is really, really helpful for our future management jobs. Also, all of the classes, the ones that I took, have outstanding instructors. The teaching strategies are different. Some are easier, some are harder, but overall, the knowledge level of instructors and what they do for students definitely is quite outstanding. This is accelerated program, which is good and bad. So it's good because it means that we can finish faster. So if we really push ourselves, we can really take 2 classes at a time. Or I don't know if who will want 3 classes at a time, but probably 2 or 1 will be reasonable. But it means that we really have to exercise very good time management because, everybody here has families, has jobs, and it becomes very, very complicated at times. And I guess the biggest criticism, at least for me, is that I wish there would be more student support because, student support was great when we were first enrolling in the program. And then, at least it's my experience, and somehow dwindled. And I would really like to see more of that.
So the question here is Netflix an ethical company, and discuss their future. I think we think Netflix is a very ethical company. You do not hear on the news anything about scandals, corruption, or other negative news. Obviously, Reed Hastings is honest. He cares about his people. You saw that when he filmed a YouTube video where he apologized for the change in service from where you had streaming and the mail service, and how he split them. And you could tell he really cares, so he's ethical. They do have a great future, but they need to work on some more strategic partnerships, and they'll have to work on related diversification. You know, that they should look at maybe, you know, it's going to be hard to team up with the Prime, but you know, they've teamed up with some mobile service cell phones where you get free streaming services with Netflix. So that's going to create new customers. People are going to see that, so that's going to help them gain more customers. And that also involves strategic partnerships, again, with the cell services.
Okay, well, that concludes our last PowerPoint. We enjoyed each other as a team. I think everybody worked extremely hard. Everybody got along. We definitely made it a priority to have our Zoom meetings. And thank you.